Fracture is the most confusing Valorant map to date, and it's leaving a lot of people confused on how to really play the defensive side, since you always feel like you're stuck in a crossfire. But worry not, guys, we are going to go over how to play the defensive side in Fracture on this video, and you guys will be set up to take every single round on your defensive half. Before we get into it, I just want to ask you guys to like and subscribe to the video if you enjoyed the content. Majority of the people who watch these videos are not subscribed, and subscribing helps me a lot, as well as keeps you abreast of all the information I'm going to be releasing in the future. But without much further ado, let's get into the video. Alright guys, so when we start off, we see that there's two spike sites on either side. There's an entrance to each spike site from both sides, and there's two attacker spawns. The way I want you to think about this defensive half is that you need to retain control of like the heart of this map. That's going to be this defender sided spawn. And the reasoning behind this is because this is going to be your fastest rotate towards the other site. If you lose control of your spawn area, if an attacker is able to actually push into this, it's going to be so hard in order to retake a site, because not only do you have to spend time to deal with this attacker, which you might end up losing the gunfight and losing numbers, that's just going to be less time in order to retake the site in it of itself. And the reason I talk about protecting this, it might seem pretty easy since things like Canteen, Generator, and Link are pretty close off. You're most likely going to be playing those areas anyway. The main place I want to talk about is this rope area. This rope area is the easiest way for an attacker to get into your spawn. Reasoning is because, well, they're going to spawn just right outside over here, and then they can push up. They can take this first gunfight, and if they go through this door and just go up these ropes, I mean, they're already in your spawn. They're already cutting off rotations. If this guy doesn't hear the rope, then he can basically get the drop on this guy as well. And once this guy is in your spawn, well, you're going to have to fight him and then clear out all of this area, all of rope room, all of Link, and then be able to focus on the site itself. So a lot of your priority as a defender is going to be in order to control this rope room. At least have info on it to make sure that there's no one pushing in here, so that you can have all of this area covered, so your rotations and your retakes are a lot faster. This is also a really good spot in order to take control of, because you can watch drop from here. It's a very safe place to watch drop since you have a very easy escape route, which no one can really trade you. And you can watch this doorway. This room also, if you keep control of it, is a fast flank to any attackers. Once they plant the spike, you can get the fast flank, you can kill them, and that's a lot of space already cleared out. So this area right here is going to be your primary focus to try and hold when you are playing defensive side of Fracture. Another area I want to talk about is tower up here. The reasoning behind it is that tower gives you a really good vantage point on anyone pushing over here towards bench and arcade. It also gives you a pretty good escape route, although it does go to the site itself, and if someone is pushing from B main, you can get pinched. But the special reasoning you want to have at least some information, or more likely some presence of tower, is that this is also a really fast area that the attackers can get onto the site itself. If you're playing over here towards Generator, you're mostly going to be focused on one side, right? You're going to be focused either on this main area right here. You're going to be playing behind this generator, and you're going to be focusing over here. If this is somehow smoked off by the attackers, or you lose vision of it as you try and fight everyone here coming towards main, if someone is able to sneak up towards here, I mean, they can just get free site control from it. Flank over here, someone over here in Canteen that could be watching A main, I mean, they're just going to get picked off pretty easily. So tower over here is a very good area to control. Now that I've talked about the two areas you primarily want to put your focus in the rope room and in the tower, I think the two extremities you should really focus on are here towards B arcade and B bench, and here towards A main and A hall. Let's talk about B arcade and B bench real quickly. Part of the reason why you want more focus here is because you'll still retain control of B tower. If you can retain control of B tower, and even if these enemies flood B main, you're still going to have this rope over here that you're able to walk up in and try and pressure the enemies from two sides if they're playing on the side itself. In addition, if you go all the way over here, you're going to have a fast flank on anyone coming B tree or B main. since you can just go under here. I mean, just already you're going to have the timing to actually shoot some members down. And usually when people are pushing into B main, they're going to be focused on the site itself, since it's kind of complicated. You have so many angles that you have to check over and over again. They might not be watching their flanks nearly as easily as they could be. If you are able to retain control of this arcade area, then really the enemies can only flood into the B site from B main in and of itself, and that's really easy in order to retake the site. You already have control of all of this area. The enemies are kind of funneled into this B main and B site area, and that's so much more control that you're going to have. The enemies are going to get crossfired in and of themselves, and they're just going to lose the site. Now, moving on towards this A main, A hallway area, I think the reason, again, that I want you guys to keep control over this, because it's easier to keep control over rope room if you have control over A main. In addition, it's somewhere that an opper can be posted up pretty easily. They just play this angle and people can wide swing into it. It's pretty wide though, so they could hold any sort of angle. A jet could easily play this and op down it. The orb control here is very accessible for these attackers, so if you try and deny this orb right here, they won't have their ultimates charged up either. And by keeping this control and rope room control, you protect your defender spawn, preserve those fast rotations to the other site. And the only place that the attackers can actually go if they want to attack A site from here would be a drop. And drop is kind of a death sentence. It's possible to push out from here, but it's just extremely hard. Reasoning behind it is already, if this is smoked off, you have no vision over the entire site, so you can't clear anything. These people over here, these people over here, over here, over here, over here, over here, like everywhere can just shoot you. And if you jump out, you're in the air for a long time. This is much taller than hookah on bind, so you're just in the air for so long. It's so easy for someone to just hold this, and the moment you jump out, just spray them down. I mean, they shouldn't be able to kill you with the inaccuracy of jumping. Now understand that although I said you should be putting primarily your focus towards this B arcade, B bench area, A main, A hall area, you still need to switch it up a couple times. If you keep playing these areas only, I mean, you'll be in a decent spot, but if the enemies kind of read into this, they could just take all of A dish or all of B main for free, and then they have to expend no utility. That's utility they can use in the post plant to really deny you any sort of space once you're retaking a site. Moving on to orb control, I think orb control is going to be especially important on this map. There are 4 orbs, so if you let the attackers get every single orb, they are going to charge up their ultimates insanely fast. And yeah, say a Killjoy is getting all 4 ultimate orbs in one round and they charge up their ultimate. I mean, look at this. This is going to completely cover the entirety of B site when they're on attack. I mean, that's basically free B site for them. So you need to be prioritizing orb control here. Push out, try and get the orb control, especially towards this B arcade, B A main area. It's just going to help you a lot. Charge up your own ultimates and it'll help you in a retake scenario. One thing I especially want to talk about with this is if you're getting the fast flank and say you get up to here, someone actually takes the fight over here and you think you're not going to win it. There's a couple people here and you're only one person. Feel free to take these zip lines, guys. You can take them as defenders, and it just puts so much variability in where people are going to be. They're going to not see you. They could either think you ran back all the way to B, maybe going to spawn, but you're just going to have the fast flank on the A people this time and catch them off guard as well. Now, I've talked about areas to control, and the last thing I want to leave you guys with is that don't follow the advice, don't peek on this map. If you try and just hide on the site itself, or if you try and hide over towards these generators and you don't decide to push out any single one or even pressure on any single one of these entrances to any of the sites, you are going to lose because you have lost so much map pressure. You're retaking from very little space. The attackers could be anywhere over here, so you have to check all of it. It's just not going to work out for you. You need to be taking some risks on this map. You can't just stash a sentinel on a site and expect them to hold it. You need to play with them. You need to take some risks, push out. So yeah, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, if you could put a like and subscribe if you did enjoy this, it really helps me and it keeps you guys up to date with all the Valorant content I'm going to be releasing. But with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.